Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the International Institute for Strategic Studies. My name is Nigel Inkster. I am Senior Advisor at IISS, focusing now primarily on issues of China and cybersecurity. It's my great pleasure to be chairing this meeting, in which we are going to hear what I think everybody recognizes is going to be a very important speech on a very important topic, the whole question of the Indo Pacific and its role in international security and international trade. At a time when globalization appears to be teetering on the brink of going into reverse, but at the same time we have a very substantial initiative from China, the One Belt, One Road, which seems to aim to take things in the direction of greater globalization. I think there is a lot of debate about the strategic implications for a number of key actors here. One of these actors has perhaps not recently had the attention that its history and importance deserves, and that is Japan. And so we're very fortunate to have as our speaker today Mr. Kentaro Sonoura, who is now serving as advisor on national security to Japan's Prime Minister, Mr. Shinzo Abe. Mr. Sonoura has a very distinguished record in Japanese public life as a member of the House of Representatives, with senior positions in Japan's foreign ministry prior to taking up his current role as advisor on national security. Mr. Sonoura will speak to us for some 20 minutes, following which there will be opportunity for you to put your questions and comments to Mr. Sonoura. We will be using simultaneous interpretation for that aspect of this event. We will be recording and streaming the event on the IISS website, and this event therefore will be on the record. So thank you all very much for coming. Mr. Sonoura, may I give the floor to you?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kentaro Sonoura. Thank you for a kind introduction. And I'm very honored to have the opportunity to speak here today at IISS, and which has a long and distinguished history in London. Darkest Hour, a British and US Academy Award-winning film which chronicled the life of Sir Winston Churchill, is currently being screened in Japan. In fact, Prime Minister Abe watched it, and so did I. I wouldn't say that the situation now is the same as the time when Churchill lived. However, it's clear that the rules-based international order, which Japan and the UK have built together with other partners, is facing challenges by force all over the world. In these times, strong leaders such as Prime Minister Abe and Prime Minister May need to work hand in hand to maintain and strengthen the rules-based international order. During Prime Minister May's visit to Japan last year, the two leaders issued a Japan-UK joint vision statement. This statement declares Japan and the UK are global strategic partners sharing common interests as outward-looking and free-trading island nations with a global reach, committed to the rules-based international systems. Japan and the UK are each other's closest security partners in Asia and Europe, respectively. This statement also underlined our commitment to tackling our shared challenges together globally, and particularly in the Indo Pacific region. Both Japan and the UK are maritime nations which are historically surrounded by the sea and owe their existence to the sea. We regard maritime security as synonymous with our own security and recognize that it's in our national interest to safeguard free and abundant oceans. In particular, the Indo Pacific region, the growth center of the world economy connected to the rest of the world through the maritime traffic network, is a frontier of cooperation between Japan and the UK. Prime Minister Abe referred the importance of the region in his speech entitled Conference of Two Seas, delivered before the Indian Parliament in 2007. Allow me to quote from that speech. The Pacific and the Indian Oceans are now bringing about a dynamic coupling as seas of freedom and of prosperity. Our two countries have the ability and the responsibility to ensure that it broadened yet further and to nurture and enrich these seas to become seas of clearest transparency. Based on this idea, Japan has been promoting a free and open Indo-Pacific strategy in order that the free and open Indo-Pacific based on the rule of law should become a global commons that brings stability and prosperity to all countries. As a promoter of this strategy, today I'd like to explain what the free and open Indo-Pacific strategy is and provide food for thought for both Japan and the UK in pursuing this goal together. Why the Indo-Pacific, not the Asia-Pacific? The reason is simple. The common challenges we face are shared not only in the Asia-Pacific but also in the Indo-Pacific. The Indo-Pacific region stretches from the Asia-Pacific through the Indian Ocean to the Middle East and Africa, and is the core of the world's vitality, supporting more than half the world's population. The maritime order in the Indo-Pacific is now exposed to various threats, including piracy, terrorism, the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction, natural disasters, illegal fishing, and unilateral attempts to change the status quo. In addition, North Korea's development of nuclear and missiles have clearly become a threat to the international community. What is the purpose of the free and open Indo-Pacific strategy? It's to ensure the stability and prosperity of not only this region, but of the world as a whole, as a result of maintaining and strengthening a free and open maritime order based on the rule of law in this region, and by making the seas a global commons, bringing stability and prosperity equally to all countries. This strategy is composed of three pillars. Let me explain them. First, the promotion and establishment of fundamental principles such as the rule of law and freedom of navigation. Unilateral attempts to change the status quo continue in the Indo-Pacific region. In order to maintain and strengthen a free and open maritime order based on the rule of law, it will be necessary to comply with international law, including the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. In addition, concrete actions and cooperation to ensure freedom of navigation are essential. For example, last November in Vietnam, Japan and the UK held a joint workshop on navigating towards the free and open seas of the Asia, the rule of the law, and international cooperation. The second pillar is the pursuit of economic prosperity through enhancing connectivity, including through quality infrastructure development in accordance with international standards. The infrastructure needs that exist in the Indo-Pacific region are enormous. Enhancing regional connectivity is vitally important for ensuring the stability and prosperity of the region as a whole. Take the situation in Asia. For many years, Japan has supported Asian countries in their policy making concerning development and the economy, as well as helping the improvement of physical connectivity, including ports, railroads, and roads, which are foundations of economic development. The improvement of people-to-people connectivity through backing for human resource development and improvement of institutional connectivity through facilitating customs and procedures. In developing infrastructure, we need to conform to certain international standards. They are, first, openness. Second, transparency. Third, economy from the perspective of life cycle cost. Fourth, financial viability of recipient countries. Fifth, job creation and capacity building. And sixth, social and environmental consideration, and so forth. Japan is promoting the development of quality infrastructure while also striving to spread and consolidate international standards. In this regard, Japan held a seminar on promoting quality infrastructure together with the OECD, in which the Right Honorable Mark Field, Minister of State for Asia and the Pacific Foreign and Commonwealth Office, took part. Japan is fully prepared to advocate alongside the UK in these areas and to act with the UK in order to create international rules. The third pillar of the strategy is initiatives for ensuring peace and stability. They include assistance for capacity building on maritime law enforcement. In order to counter threats such as piracy, terrorism, and the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction, we need to facilitate cooperation on anti-piracy measures, counter-terrorism, and non-proliferation. It's also important to strengthen support for enhancing the maritime law enforcement capabilities of coastal states by providing patrol vessels and materials related to maritime security, as well as improving MDA capabilities and holding joint exercises. For example, Japan and the US are making progress with concrete coordination activities in the area of supporting Southeast Asian countries in building their maritime law enforcement capacities. In November of last year, the Japan Coast Guard, together with the United States Coast Guard, held an exercise in the Philippines with the Coast Guards of the Philippines, Vietnam, Indonesia, and Malaysia. Also, Japan and the UK held a counter-terrorism dialogue in January and discussed possible cooperation in the Indo Pacific region. Last month, HSM Sutherland docked in Japan and carried out a joint exercise with the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force. It's important to amass this type of on-site cooperation in the field of maritime security and to work together with relevant countries to promote the peace and prosperity of the Indo-Pacific region and the world. Simultaneously, in the Indo-Pacific region, where large-scale natural disasters are frequent, it's also in the common interest of all countries in the region to advance cooperation relating to disaster reduction and humanitarian assistance and disaster relief. With the UK, Japan held a seminar on humanitarian assistance and disaster relief in Manila. The free and open Indo-Pacific strategy is open to all countries that support this vision. It by no means counters specific countries or initiatives. We'd like to build up abundant experience of cooperation with European countries, including the UK, which are deep historical, political, and economic ties to the Indo-Pacific region, as well as the US, India, Australia, and ASEAN nations and the countries in South Asia to promote the peace, stability, and prosperity in this region. At the press conference of the Japan-UK Foreign and Defense Ministerial Meeting, 2+2, in December last year, Foreign Minister Kono stated that he welcomed the UK's return to the region east of Suez. Japan supports the UK's vision of a global Britain and warmly welcomes its commitment to the Indo-Pacific region. I'd like to touch upon the issue of North Korea, which poses an enormous threat to the Indo-Pacific region and the international community. It's as a result of the pressure campaign by the international community that North Korea has come to seek dialogue. The Inter-Korean Summit meeting was held on 27 April at Panmunjom. After the summit, ROK and North Korea issued the Panmunjom Declaration for Peace, Prosperity, and Unification at the Korean Peninsula. Japan welcomed that North Korea will toward denuclearization and confirmed in the declaration as a positive move and strongly hopes that North Korea will take concrete actions to achieve the complete and verifiable and irreversible dismantlement of all WMD and ballistic missiles. The US-North Korea summit meeting is supposed to be held between May and early June. We have to continue to pay close attention to North Korea's actions and monitor its intentions. Especially based on the lessons learned from the past experience, we should not get the timing of easing sanctions wrong. We should not reward Pyongyang with the lifting of sanctions or provision of support only for engaging in dialogue. We need to continue the maximum pressure campaign to realize the CVID of all WMD and ballistic missiles. In order to fully implement UN Security Council resolutions dealing with North Korea's evasion of sanctions, including ship-to-ship transfer, is also most pressing. I'd like to closely cooperate with the UK, including the G7 summit meeting scheduled for next month. Ladies and gentlemen, a famous British politician of the 19th century, Henry John Temple, the third Viscount Palmerston, who served as Prime Minister twice, stated in a speech at the House of Commons in 1848, "We have no eternal allies, and we have no perpetual enemies. Our interests are eternal and perpetual, and those interests it is our duty to follow." I consider that it's in the UK's best interest to maintain and strengthen the rules-based international order, and that the same applies to Japan. Japan has contributed to constructing the rules-based international order that has prevailed for more than 60 years since the Second World War. To support the rules-based international order together is to support the UK's interest together. In that sense, though it may sound paradoxical, I'm convinced that Japan and the UK are and will be eternal allies. In contrast to the time when Henry John Temple lived, the UK has many allies sharing fundamental values, including the rule of law. I, however, would like to emphasize that, at least in Asia, Japan is the UK's closest ally, working together to ensure its interest. Thank you very much. And I would now like to hear your free and open opinions. Thank you very much.
Well, Mr. Sonoura, thank you very much indeed. You made extensive reference to Lord Palmerston, who famously adopted a very business-like approach to the conduct of public affairs, which, amongst other things, emphasized the importance of punctuality. I have no doubt that he would greatly approve of the very business-like way in which you have delivered this presentation. We now have, rather unusually for a meeting of this kind, a good period of time in which to ask questions and make comments. I would invite you, when doing so, please first to identify yourself and your institutional affiliation, if you have one, so that we have as good a record as possible. But I'm going to exercise my self-appointed prerogative as chairman to ask an initial question, and it is this. We talk about you talk about a concept, a free and open Indo Pacific strategy, and you say that anybody subscribing to the aims of that strategy is welcome to participate. Do you envisage going beyond the articulation of a strategy and developing more in the way of institutional arrangements and underpinnings to support this strategy? And if so, what are they?
今回この、自由で開かれたインド太平洋戦略というものをおっしゃいまして、でそれに対してはさまざまな国が、参加することを、ウェルカムするということですけども、これはこの戦略そのものの、コンセプトを超えてより大きな、制度としてこれを構築する考えがあるんでしょうか。
それぞれの国がそれぞれの戦略を持っていると思います。
So individual country has individual strategy.
例えばインドはアクトイーストという海洋戦略を持っています。
アクイースト。
アクトイースト。
アクトイースト。For example, India has Act East strategy policy.
アメリカもアメリカの戦略を持っていて、オーストラリアもオーストラリアの戦略を持っている。その戦略同士をシナジーさせて協力できる分野で協力をしていくというのが基本的なスタンスだと思います。
So America has its own and Australia has its own. So individual country has individual strategy. So we try to make synergy effect of these different strategies together.
でその中でやはりその国際的な規範、いわゆる法の支配とか、いわゆる開放性だとか、いくつかのいわゆる我々が大事にしている条件を組み合わせていくというか、それにのっとったものをみんなでやっていくということだと思います。
So we try to make it more international cooperation, but based on the rule of law or openness. So this kind of condition must be complied, but we try to make it more international stage.
我々は自分たちのこの戦略を押し付けるつもりはなくて、イギリスはイギリスの戦略があって、それと一緒にやれるところをやっていくというふうに理解をしていただければと思います。
So we do not press our own strategy, but we like to cooperate with different countries' strategy.
Thank you very much. Right. Okay. Right. We'll start with Nick, please.
Thank you, Nigel. Nick Childs from the Institute. I'm the Senior Fellow for Naval Forces Maritime Security. Really following on from Nigel's question and your answer, you mentioned the US, Australia and India as individual countries. Of course, in terms of seeking potential frameworks for international cooperation, people have suggested that the Quad framework is a potential foundation, or maybe even the Quad Plus that might include the UK, might include France and other countries outside the region. Is that a potential framework? Does the Quad as a concept fit in with that inclusive, open approach to the Indo Pacific that you're talking about?
IISS の海洋安全保障の担当のニック・チャイルドですけども、先ほどアメリカ、オーストラリア、インドといった国々の話が出ました。で、この戦略のフレームワークなんですけども、今考えられているものをさらに超えて、例えば国際協力の中で、例えばクワッドフレームワークという形で、もう考えられますし、さらにイギリスやフランスといったこのインド太平洋を超えたところの国々が参加するクオッドプラスという形のフレームワークというものを可能性としては考えられるんでしょうか。それは自由で開かれたというそのモットーに適用するんじゃないでしょうか。
全く我々はどこの国とも話をしてます。すでにイギリスやフランスとも話をしてます。おっしゃる通りです。
As you mentioned, we already discussed with United Kingdom and France, and we are talking about it.
別に日米豪印という4カ国の枠組みだけがそこに存在するわけじゃなくて、場所によっては日米で話をすることもあるでしょうし、例えばインド洋についてこの話をするっていうんであれば、日本とイギリスとインドで話をするっていうこともあるでしょうし、この枠組みというのは非常にフレキシブルで、別に固まったものがあるわけじゃありません。ケースバイケースでそれぞれ話をしていけばいいと思います。基本的な価値観をまず共有する国をいかに増やすかというところに今力点があります。
Well, we talk about the United States, Japan, United States, Australia, and India, 4 countries. But in some areas, we focus on the U.S.-Japan relation, and also, if, for example, in the case of the Indo-Indian Ocean, we are going to talk with Japan and India. So framework is very flexible. It's not necessary to be restricted to the 4 countries or regional countries. So we would like to share the fundamental concept, not the rigid framework.
Okay. Right. Corey, did you want?
I really admire. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Corey Shockey, the Deputy Director of the Naval ISS. I very much admire the way Japan is moving out into greater cooperation with other countries in the region to strengthen Coast Guard and maritime capacities of your partners.
Thank you.
I think it's such an important step forward. I'm curious how you are managing the relationship with the Philippines, because it seems to me that an enormous opportunity to strengthen the rules-based order was missed when the government of the Philippines didn't take up the International Tribunal in The Hague's decision and bring it to allies to help manage China's behavior. How are you managing the relationship with the Philippines? What would you like to see other allies do to help the Philippines strengthen their own independence?
IISS の副所長の小石さんは、日本がこのような形で国際的な協力をさらに広げる形での、戦略を打ち出していることを非常に、歓迎いたします。で、特にですね、沿岸警備、海上保安の元についてちょっとお聞きしたいんですけども、特にフィリピンが、現在、先ほど法に基づいた形での、考え方を、強めていきたいということですけども、フィリピンとの関係をどう考えているかということについて質問したいと思います。フィリピン政府はですね、最近、ヘーグの、国際司法裁判所で、問題を提起しまして、で、この際に、中国との関係というのが非常に、緊張をもたらしたわけですけれども、このような状況の中でフィリピンとの関係を、あなたとしてはどうお考えなんでしょうか。
まずそのフィリピンのコーストガードっていうのはご覧になったことあるかどうか分かりませんけれども、彼ら船も飛行機もレーダーも持っていませんでした。
Maybe you may know that the Philippines Coast Guard has no vessels or no airplane or any equipment.
したがってこのスール・セレベスという海で、これはフィリピンとマレーシアとインドネシアの中間地点にある海ですけれども、非常に海賊が跋扈している状態が続きました。
So there is a sea area which is shared by the Malaysia, Philippines, Indonesia. So in this area there are lots of the piracy activities going on.
もっと言えば、その長距離を航海できる船がないので、違法漁業に対しても彼らは何もできないというよりも、自分たちの海で何が起こっているかを知ることすらできないという状況でした。
And also they do not have the long-range vessels, so it is impossible to monitor the illegal fishery in their water or what happened in their water.
で、今彼らに船を供与して、そして飛行機を供与して、そしてこれからレーダーについても検討を始めます。
So we are going to provide the vessels, boat, and then the airplanes, and possibly the radars to them.
そうすると彼らは自分たちの目で自分たちの海で何が起こっているかを知ることになって、おそらくそれを守ろうという意思が出てくるんだと思います。
So once they can monitor their own sea or their own water, then they are going to protect the sea. So that will enhance their attitudes.
そういうやはりですね、やれというふうに押し付けるんじゃなくて、彼ら自身が自分たちの海を自分たちできちっとモニターをして、そして治安を維持をするのだという意識を持ってもらうようなサポートを我々はしたいと考えています。
So we are not going to press them to protect the water, but we provide the materials and also which they can control or monitor their own sea, and then they can control their own territory.
That's the Japanese way.
Okay, thank you. The lady in the front row here.
Zinatwas Claverie Lectures. In describing, just to go back to the open Indo Pacific treaties, in describing the open quality of the Indo Pacific, one thinks about free trade. What does Japan think, and how does this tally with the imposition, US position of tariffs and pulling out TPP? And secondly, what kind of weighty role will India play? Does India have the capability to do this?
講師のジーラさんのですね、先ほど、自由で開かれたインドパシフィックの戦略ということがあったんですけども、自由な貿易という点ではこれはどのように考えているその質について考えているんでしょうか。例えばアメリカは TPP から今参加していませんけども、この場合この自由な貿易というものはどのような形でこれに対して加わっていくことになるんでしょうか。またインドはどのような形でこの戦略に関わっていくことになるんでしょうか。
貿易に関して言えば日本はマルチのシステムがいいということを今も考えてますけれども、それぞれの国がそれぞれの主権の名において自分たちが求める貿易の在り方ということを追求する、これを否定するものではありません。
So the Japanese attitude towards the free trade is multi-system. So it's not necessary to be a unified system, but individual country has their own right to seek their the system which is all for their own interest.
TPP にアメリカが戻ってきてくれればそれは言うことはありませんけれども、すでにタイが新しく TPP に加盟したいという意思表明をしています。
So we are most welcome that the United States coming back to the TPP, but at the moment Thailand is try to participate the TPP now.
いやごめん、TPP に参加をしたいという意思を表明した。
Sorry. Thailand is showing the willingness to join the TPP.
で RCEP の交渉に関しても我々は十分インドのセンシティビティに配慮をしながら交渉を進めています。
For the RCEP, we are always thinking about the sensitivity of the issue and then discuss with India.
でしたがって自由貿易というものがいい素晴らしいものであるということは否定をもちろんその通りなんですけれども、それが各国の主権を超えて何かをするというアプローチは我々は取っていません。
So certainly we recognize the importance of the free trade, but we are not invade their individual countries their right to decide their own track.
でインドに関して言えば先ほど申し上げてねえや、日本とインドで例えば今年かあれ去年、共同訓練、海上保安庁の共同訓練、コーストガードの共同訓練やりました。
So for the India, between India and Japan, we have a good joint exercise between Japan and India last year.
そこにスリランカとも俺自分もオブザーバーで参加をしました。
And Sri Lanka and Maldives participate as an observer.
このインドがやはり中心となってこのインド洋の安定を確保するというのは非常に大事であって、このキーとなる国だと思っています。
So India is a key country which stabilize the peace of the Indian Ocean.
でこのインド太平洋戦略の我々の真の目的の一つは、日本は今人口が減り始めてますから、これ今伸びている国の経済成長力を取り込みたいという思いもあります。
And one of the important the aim or the purpose of the Indo Pacific strategy is because Japan is declining its own population. So this area is growth center, growth core of the world economy. So that is why we try to promote this strategy.
インドとか ASEAN とかアフリカの経済成長力を日本が取り込めればことができれば、我々は人口が減るけれども経済力が大きくなるという世界で初めての国になりたいと。そのためにもこの連結の強化による経済的な繁栄の追求というのは欠かせないと思っています。
So Japan wants to include the growth, economic growth of India, ASEAN, and the African countries. And this connectivity of economic prosperity is most important because Japan declining, in considering the Japan's declining population.
Thank you.
Okay, we've got a number of hands going up. I think we'll get them all, and I'll take them one by one rather than group them. I have the gentleman in the second row.
Hi. Alessio Milano, Department of War Studies at King's College London. Thank you very much, sir, for your talk. I'd like to pick up on 2 points that you mentioned, which are quite important. The model you explained of Japan's contribution to capacity building in Southeast Asia, would you say that is a possible model for increasing Japan's contribution to maritime capacity building on the Western Indian Ocean? Because on the slide here I have the Western Indian Ocean included. What is that you are looking forward to doing as a security actor in the Western Indian Ocean part of the Indo Pacific strategy? And on the point about UK and Japan cooperation, you emphasized the maritime nature of it. Given that UK is going through this review of its defence posture years ahead, would you consider a welcome proposition to consider the forward deployment of naval assets in your part of the world, possibly in places like Yokosuka, which would de facto multiply the possibility of the UK to be a constant and present security contributor to regional stability? Thank you.
キングスカレッジの戦略、研究所の戦略学の方なんですけども、2つ、質問があります。1つは、先ほど、海上警備に関する、能力を、構築するという、モデルについておっしゃっていましたけども、これは、大きく、日本が貢献すると思うんですが、それは例えばインド洋の西の方の、エリアにも適用されるんでしょうか。そしてもう1つはイギリスと日本の、協力なんですけども、両国はともに、海洋国家なわけですけども、イギリスは現在、防衛姿勢を大きく見直そうとしています。そのような中でイギリスのその海軍力というものがそちらの方、いわゆる方に展開するという考え方はあるんでしょうか。展開した方がいいという考え方はあるんでしょうか。
最初の質問で関して言えば、日本も国力に限界がありますから、世界中に船や飛行機を上げることはできません。
So for the first the point, Japan has limited resources, so we cannot contribute the resources to the entire world.
西インド洋に関しては、中東の国々、イギリスや中東の国々やインドに強く期待をしています。
So for the Western Pacific, we expect the United States, United Kingdom, the Middle East, and India will contribute.
でもちろんそれをサポートすることはできますけれども、世界中あらゆる地域で日本がイニシアチブを取ろうと思っているんではなくて、それぞれの国と関係が深い、例えばポリネシアなんかだとオーストラリアとかニュージーランドが非常に関係が深いんで、そういうところはオーストラリアとかニュージーランドがイニシアチブを取りながら我々がサポートして、そういう能力を作るということもできると思います。
So our support is limited, limited. So we can lead the initiative, but the individual area has their own country which has contributed this initiative, such as for the Polynesia is close to the Australia and New Zealand. So Australia and New Zealand can contribute to the Polynesian Coastal Guard.
それをまた日本は側面から自分たちの得意な分野で支援するということも考えられる。
But Japan can contribute in a way that we are good at.
で、2つ目の質問に関しては、我々の外務大臣、河野外務大臣がすでに、イギリス UK がグローバルブリテンの名のもとにスエズの東に戻ってきたということを歓迎してますし、私も同じ考え方です。
For the second point, our foreign minister, Taro Kono, already welcomed that the United Kingdom's approach of the global Britain, which the United Kingdom come back to the east of Suez.
価値観や考え方を同じくする国がより手を携える姿をより多くの地域で見せるというのは非常に大事なことだと思いますので、これからもイギリスには この前サザーランドが横須賀に来ましたけれども、そうした交流を続けてもらいたいと望んでいます。
So it is important to cooperate with the countries which share the same value and idea. And the Her Majesty's ship Sutherland visits Japan. So this kind of the cooperation is most welcome to us.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much. Right, a number of hands going up. Yeah, okay. I think we may have to take a couple together. So perhaps a gentleman right at the back corner, next to the window, with all the building noise that unfortunately is coming through it.
Last year, my question relates to cyber, and last year we saw a pretty consequential attack in the UK, most likely a North Korean cyber actor against the NHS. So a clear violation of long-held norms of attacking civilians. My question would be, though, how is Japan looking to establish new rules for the international rules-based system in the cyber domain?
Okay, thank you very much. And we'll take one more, if I may. The gentleman in the back row there. Don't worry, I've got you, Elliot.
My question is, do you make a specific and explicit connection between infrastructure projects, particular projects, and the Indo Pacific strategy, such as, for example, the Delhi-Mumbai freight corridor?
Oh, yeah, I see.
If you do, does this mean that you'll also explicitly provide a role in this strategy for financing institutions like the Japan Development Bank?
Thank you.
まず最初に、昨年、イギリスでも、北朝鮮による、サイバーアタックというものがありまして、公や民間を問わずさまざまな被害が出ているんですけども、日本としてはこのような、サイバーアタックに対して新しいルールを作る考え方はあるんでしょうか。そして2番目の方はですね、この、東より開かれたインド太平洋の、インフラの整備、この戦略の中でインフラの整備というのがありましたけれども、特定のその、プロジェクトに対して、例えばデリーとムンバーを結ぶような、そのプロジェクトに対して、このような投資をしたいとかいう考えはあるんでしょうか。また特定の、組織、例えば国際協力銀行などが、それに対して協力するといった考えはあるんでしょうか。
最初のものについて言えば、日本は来年 G20 そして TICAD を主催して2020年にオリンピック・パラリンピックを主催します。
So for the first question, Japan will hold the G20 summit soon, and then also TICAD, and then in 2020 we have Olympic Games and Paralympic Games.
したがってロンドンで非常に苦労された方々からいろいろ勉強をさせていただいております。
So we have a lot of the feedback from the London cases.
でもちろんこの北朝鮮のみならず世界の国からですね非常にサイバーアタックを受けてますから、日本自身もその機能を強化してますが、日本だけでこれを守りきれることは思ってません。
So certainly we have a lot of cyber attacks, not only from North Korea but also on many countries. So we are very concerned about this issue.
国連でこの話がですね非常に主要なテーマになって確か2年3年だと記憶してますけれども、そうした枠組みをもっと強化するようなことをむしろ P5 の側から提案をしていただきたいという希望もございます。
So Japan cannot handle solely this issue, but about 2 or 3 years ago, the United Nations started to discuss about this issue as a main concern of the global issue. So we have to strengthen the approach to the cyber security, but we expect the Permanent Five will propose the more robust approach to this issue.
でコネクティビティのプロジェクトに言えば、今ベトナムからミャンマーをつなぐ南部回廊、東西回廊とか南部回廊というものを整備しようとしています。
For the connectivity question, we are going to support the connection between Vietnam and Myanmar, East-West corridor, economic corridor, and Southern economic corridor.
マラッカ海峡を通らずに、アジア側とそれからインド側がつながるというのは非常に重要だと思っています。
So it is important that without passing through the Malacca Strait, we can connect to the Indian Ocean. It's important.
で金融面で言えば JBIC は去年リスクマネーをより供給できるように改革を行いました。これからも続けていくと思います。
So for the JDIC, will improve the risk money investment, so we can invest more smoothly.
で ADB に関して言えば今米国とこの ADB の機能強化について話をしておりますし、プロジェクトによっては我々は AIIB との協調融資というのもありうべしというふうな認識でおります。そのぐらい世界のインフラ需要というのは多いという認識を持っています。
So we are discussing with the United States about strengthening the ADD function, more activity, and they also discuss about the possible cooperation with the Japanese institution. So the demand for the infrastructure building is quite high.
Yeah.
Japanese institution, AIIB. Sorry, I mistranslate. The possible cooperation, the second half, is a possible cooperation with AIIB and ADB is discussed. Sorry.
All right. Right, I'm dividing the room into fire zones, so we'll take two questions here, Alia, and then the gentleman at the end of that.
Yes, hello, my name is Alia Mubarak. I work on geoeconomics and strategy at Naval. So I have a couple of questions. The first point regarding basically your statement on how you see the principles governing your connectivity through infrastructure. And clearly you mentioned the issues of financial viability and sustainability. Now clearly many of the countries where Japan is interested to implement its policy of connectivity are also countries where that are already being are part of the Belt and Road, China's Belt and Road initiative, and therefore we are seeing increasingly problems arising that many of these countries are overburdened by financing agreement with China that is adding to their financial vulnerabilities. What is Japan's position on this issue? Are you actively working with the IMF and World Bank to find multilateral rules for preserving financial sustainabilities in those recipient countries so that we don't end up with bigger burdens on them? And my second question is regarding the role, your perception on the role of the Middle East in your your open Indo-Pacific strategy. You mentioned that, and we know very well that India is at the core of your Africa-Asia growth corridor, which will be announced in the next few months. But clearly there is interest of many countries, including the UAE and Saudi Arabia, to get involved in such an initiative. Can you tell us a little bit what is Japan doing with those countries? How do you want to bring them on board, and where do you see their role concretely?
Okay, I think we'll take that one because that was two questions. Let's do that first.
I have already two questions.
All right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes. That's right.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's what I meant. Yeah.
原則の中に連結性コネクティビティというものがあったと思います。でその際に経済的な問題をやる場合に財政の健全性や透明性というものが必要だというふうにおっしゃいました。で日本はこれについてどういうふうにアプローチするのかということなんですけども、現在中国がイニシアチブを取ってさまざまな経済協力を行っています。その際に問題となってくるのがその財政の健全性というものが問題になってくると思います。これについて中国のイニシアチブとそれから日本というのはどういう政策を取っていくんでしょうか。また IMF とともにマルチラテラルな形で対処していくのか、それともサステナビリティを重んじて、それもこれ現在の原則というものを貫いていくのかというのが一つ目の質問です。でもう一つの質問が、先ほどこの戦略の中に中東の問題、中東の参画というものを、扉を開いていくということをおっしゃっていましたけれども、確かにこれからアフリカ、アジアというのは成長のコアとなっていくと思います。その際に中東では例えば UAE アラブ首長国連邦ですとか、それからサウジというものの関与もあると思うんですけども、その際にこれらの国々はどういう形で参加することを希望されているんでしょうか。例えばボードに対してビジカルにこのいらの国々が参加することを考えたり、どのような形での参画を考えているんでしょうか。
一帯一路に関して言えば、それが国際標準に合ったかどうかを判断しながらケースバイケースで協力するところ出てくると思います。
So for the strategy to the One Belt One Road, we assess the case by case, so individual investment case.
まあしかしながらこのスリランカのハンバントゥーターで起こったようなことが起こると我々は賛成できない。
But for example, what happened in Hambantota in Sri Lanka, which is not acceptable.
でやっぱりこのヨーロッパにおいても対中債務、特にアフリカにおいても対中債務が増えている国が非常に多いと。でその国の意思決定に対して外から影響を及ぼすようなやり方は我々は歓迎できないと思います。
So the China has debt against the African countries, and not only European countries but African countries, and then they exercise the strength, they exercise the power to these countries, which is not welcomed.
まあ逆に言えばこの一帯一路という構想がさっき申し上げたような日本とイギリスがこれまで育んできたような国際スタンダードに合うように我々が誘導していく。話をしていくということもこれからやらなければいけないと。
So we have to Japan and United Kingdom nurture the international standard. So we try to the China to comply this One Belt One Road strategy is comply this international standard which is nurtured by Japan and the United Kingdom.
でこういうその考え方を広めていくにはもちろん IMF もそうですし OECD のような国際機関を使うことも非常に有効だと思います。
So certainly in order to impose this kind of idea, it is possible, it is a good idea to through the international organizations such as IMF and OECD.
だけどもイギリスにも日本にもですね財政の専門家っていうのはいるわけですからそうしたお金をどういうふうに借りていいかわからないお金のこの財政のバランスシートがよくわからないというような国々に対してイギリスや日本のような国々が国際援助として財政の専門家を送り込んで彼らに財政規律の在り方というのを教えるというのも手としてあると思います。我々はもうすでにそれを考えています。
But the Japan and the United Kingdom has the financial expert in their own themselves. So for these countries in Asia and in Africa, we can advise how to borrow money or how to make a balance sheet, and then we can send the financial expert to teach the financial viability of their own country.
で中東の国に関して言えば当然彼らは資源国ですからこうしたいわゆる経済性の部分で、参加をしてくれればありがたいと思いますしもっとぶっちゃけた話をするとだいぶ持ってますから、いろんなこの船とかですね飛行機とかを供与するドナー国になってくれればありがたいなという思いもあります。
So for the Middle East countries, certainly they have a rich natural resources, so they can contribute economically to our strategy. So certainly they are welcome, but also they have lots of the financial resources, so they can be donor country to provide the vessels and airplanes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're running low on time, so I'm going to take two last questions. Could I please enjoin both of you to be brief and to end with a question mark? The gentleman in the second row, and then the gentleman right at the back there who's been very patient. Thank you.
I am called from the Pacific.
Oh.
Thank you for your insight on this one. Actually, you enlightened me to understand this.
We are waiting Mr. President next week.
Okay, I'm so also at the beginning of our question and answer, you mentioned that each country, including the U.S., has its own interest in Indo Pacific strategy. Can you shortly define or show me the main difference, the strategy between one of the Japan and one of the US.
Okay, that's one question.
Very similar.
This is the second one. Yep. Sir?
Thank you very much. I'm Mark Evans from the South African High Commission. Thank you for taking the question. It's a very interesting talk. South Africa is currently the chair of the Indian Ocean Rim Association. And I note in the presentation and the slides, when it talks about partners, etc., it doesn't seem to refer to the IORA or the current structures that are there. How do you see this initiative dovetailing or replicating or being in competition with? I just give various scenarios with, for example, IORA, which has a lot of similar objectives in the Indian Ocean region. And then just following up on that as well, when you talk about cooperation, you mentioned USA, India, ASEAN, and those, but there's quite a bit of emphasis in the slides, for example, on Africa. It's not really mentioned, though, in terms of how you would want to partner or engage with Africa in this, for example, the EU, through TICA, through countries, individual countries in Africa, so that it's not a question about talking about Africa, but talking with Africa. And then just finally, right in the beginning, you mentioned one of what you would like to see as independent oceans. I don't know whether I misheard you, but maybe you could just elaborate if I heard correctly. What you meant by independent ocean? Thank you.
最初の方は、Q&A の最初の部分で、それぞれの国がそれぞれの戦略を持っているとおっしゃいましたけれども、日本との間で、最も大きな違いというのは何があるでしょうか。日米で、はい。マーク・エヴァンスさんの方はですね、このスライドの中で、インド太平洋の話が出てきましたけれども、すでにあるようなその枠組みとの関係はどうなるんでしょうか。それは競合するものなのか、補足し合うものになるのか、もしくはライバルとなるものなのかということ。そして、このスライドの中では、アメリカ、インド、ASEAN などの国々が出ていますけれども、アフリカについてはその役割についているのがあまり明確に書いてなかったと思います。アフリカと国々というのはどのような形で参加するんでしょうか。最後に、インディペンデントオーシャンという話が出てきましたけれども、これいわゆるどのような定義になっているんでしょうか。インディペンデントオーシャンという
と日米のおそらく最大の違いは、日本が経済連結性っていうのがより上位にあって、アメリカの方はどっちかというと海上保安っていうのにより重きを置いているというところが違いだったと記憶しています。
So the difference between Japan and United States, particularly the largest difference is Japan is seeking the economic connectivity, but the United States is seeking the maritime security.
そこが優先順位が多分少し違ってたと思います。
So the priorities are slightly different between Japan and United States.
逆に韓国の海洋戦略っていつできるか。
But we would like to ask you that when you will figure out your strategy to the maritime security.
当然我々はあらゆる国と一緒にやりたいと思っているので、できればそういう話をする機会を作っていただければと思います。
So we want to cooperate many countries. So we want to discuss with South Korea. So we want to the South Korea show what kind of strategy you are going to take.
でティカッドプロセス含めてこれまでのイニシアティブを僕はこのホイップっていうのは補完するものだと思っています。協力できると思います。
For the TICAD process, the HOIP is the supportive HOIP, and then this Indo Pacific strategy can support each other.
でアフリカに関して言えば今伸び始めたところ、誤解を恐れずに申し上げるとアフリカというのはまだまだポテンシャルがある地域だと思います。
For Africa, it just started to grow, so they have lots of potential.
で実は今朝僕はガーナから来ました。
So this morning I arrived from Ghana.
で日本は今ケニアのモンバサ、それからモザンビークのナカラ、それからコートジボワールやガーナを中心とする西アフリカ成長の輪、この3つの 連結性向上というのを重点的に支援をしています。
So for Japan, we particularly focus on the Kenya, Mozambique, and Ghana. This the triangle is the growth center.
ケニアのモンバサポートを中心とする経済地域、それからモザンビークのナカラ港を出口とする南部のアフリカの経済発展、それからコートジボワールやガーナを中心、ブルキナファソを中心とした西アフリカの経済地域、この3つの地域の経済発展を支援するというのを重点的にやっています。
Sorry, correct. We focus on the support for the 3 points in Africa. One is the Momba port in Kenya and the surrounding area. And then second is the Nakara port, which is the center for the Southern Africa in Mozambique, which is center for the Southern African economy. And also the Western Africa is Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, and Burkina Faso is also the third center. So these 3 areas is we are going to support.
でこういう支援をすることでアフリカ自身が伸び始めるというところまで持っていければなというのがまだ今の段階だと思います。
So we expect the Africa themselves enhance their growth economically with this the initiative.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I'm afraid that we've used up our allotted time, and I would like to apologize to those people who were not able to put their questions. But I always think that the hallmark of a good meeting, a good presentation, is that it elicits more questions than there is time to answer them. So on that criterion alone, I think this has been very successful. But beyond that, we've had a very extensive and detailed exposition of what is clearly a very dynamic and ambitious policy that deserves to be better heard, and I'm happy that we're going to be able to play a small part in ensuring that it does get better heard. So, Mr. Sonoura, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.